you have considerable unused capacity that you haven't turned to your advantage. You have a need for others to like and admire you. Wow, he's describing me. He so gets me. He so understands me. Are psychics real? The dark psychology of cold reading exposed. So, are psychics real? I think some might be, but most use the techniques I'm about to expose to you in this video. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you like this video, find it useful, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, check the description for my depression and anxiety workbook. My name's Mark, I'm a hypnotherapist, and I've had an interest in cold reading ever since very early on in my hypnotherapy career. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on cold reading and explaining to you how you can protect yourself from people that might want to manipulate you for their own gain. So let's dive into the psychology behind cold reading. The foundation of cold reading is based on something called the Barnum Effect. The Barnum Effect was developed or discovered by a man called P.T. Barnum. He was a famous showman and cold reader. The Barnum Effect relies on Barnum statements, which are generalized and vague, but they can apply to most people. So most people hear these statements and adapt it to them. So Barnum's statements might seem adapted to you. They might seem tailored to you and specific to you. When I use a Barnum statement, you might think, wow, he's describing me. He so gets me. He so understands me. But really, these statements could be applied to almost anyone. They are just so vague. Examples of Barnum statements might be, you have a need for others to like and admire you, but you're really critical of yourself. I can see that you have a slight imbalance in your body. Maybe one leg is not injured, but it's slightly weaker than the other. Everyone has a strong side to their body and a weak side to their body. You know, people are either right-handed or left-handed. Likewise, the legs, right? You can have a dominant leg, but if someone said that about the hands, you'd be like, well, obviously I'm right-handed. But because you don't tend to think about that when it comes to your legs, you think, wow, how did he notice that? That's amazing. While you have some personal weaknesses, you're generally able to compensate for them. You have considerable unused capacity that you haven't turned to your advantage. At times you're extroverted, sociable, outgoing, while at other times you feel more introverted and you enjoy your own company. You tend to be independent in your thinking and don't accept others' opinions without satisfactory proof. So these Barnum statements could literally apply to anyone. Tell me how many of them you can identify with, how many of them you can see as applying to you in the comments below. A cold reader will rely on your tendency to find meaning in those statements, to associate those statements with you. Next up, a cold reader might use universal truths. These are statements or observations about human behavior that would apply to most people. But again, because a person has a need to find meaning, especially if they are going to a cold reader or maybe a therapist. They are looking for answers, they're looking for solutions, and they're going to take anything that person tells them as applying to them, particularly if they have lost a loved one. They're in a vulnerable state. They're going to be trying to cling to anything they can. So some examples of universal truths a cold reader might use: everyone has experienced disappointment. Everyone has experienced some form of trauma. Everyone has lost a loved one at some point in their lives. Everyone has moments of self-doubt. Most people, not me, but most people care what others think of them. Everyone has dreams, aspirations. So a cold reader or manipulator is going to use these universal truths to make a person feel like they have an understanding of them, like they're receiving some kind of special information. And they're going to use universal truths first to start to get you agreeing with them, to start to build credibility. I spoke about the yes set in a previous video. You can find a link to that up there. Once they've given you these universal truths, once they've got you buying in to what they're saying, feeling understood, they're going to use more specific statements. The cold reader is often going to deliver these statements with confidence to really build on their impact. People often remember the hits and forget the misses, particularly if, as I said, they are vulnerable, they're looking for someone or something to cling to, they are missing a loved one. They are going to take these things and forget the misses, the statements that didn't apply to them. So we spoke about universal truths. How could they be used? How could a cold reader use these to get you buying in to their ability? They may say something like, I can see you recently lost someone. I can see you really care about how you appear to others. I can see you experience the disappointment recently. I can see you doubt yourself sometimes. So having an understanding of these concepts of Barnum statements, universal truths, helps to protect you against manipulation, because you can recognize when someone is using generalized statements to appear insightful. You can differentiate between genuine personal insights and universal application. You'll be able to think critically, to analyze these statements critically, and you'll be less impressed by seemingly specific observations that actually apply to most people. Cold readers also use body language cues to make assumptions about a person's emotional state. Things like eye contact, body posture, and facial expressions. All of these can provide clues as to what a person has going on within them internally. Someone is very anxious, they may be kind of slouched over, they may have a poor posture. If they are full of toxic shame, if they experienced a lot of trauma, maybe they've grown up in a dysfunctional family, they will struggle to make and maintain eye contact. So if someone is fidgeting, avoiding eye contact, a cold reader can make the assumption that they're nervous or uncomfortable, that they have experienced some difficulties in childhood. A cold reader can also make educated guesses based on statistical possibilities. For example, if you're going to see a psychic, it's very likely that you've recently experienced a loss in your life. As we said, most people are going to have experienced a loss at some point in their lives. It's a universal truth. So a cold reader can pretty comfortably, pretty confidently say that. Say, I see you've recently experienced a loss. I see someone in your family has recently departed, or someone close to you has recently departed. So in therapy, we do use some cold reading techniques sometimes. The line between ethical use of cold reading and manipulation can be blurry. Ethical practitioners use these techniques to build rapport, to build trust from the client so that they can help them more effectively, more quickly, help them to achieve their goals, whatever it is they're looking to get from therapy. But some unscrupulous individuals may use cold reading to deceive and exploit, some kind of con artists or people who are trying to pick you up in a bar might use these kind of cold reading techniques to manipulate you, to get you to do whatever they want or to receive some kind of personal gain. So how can you avoid being a victim of these manipulative cold reading strategies? Here are some techniques you can use, some things that you should be aware of when you're speaking with people that you feel may benefit from using these cold reading techniques on you. Number one, be aware of generalized statements. Number two, question statements or assumptions made on limited information. Number three, analyze the person that you think may be cold reading you. Analyze their true intentions. Number four, trust your instincts. If something feels off, it probably is. Number five, don't be afraid to push back or walk away. And remember, knowledge is power. Knowing these techniques enables you to avoid manipulators and people who may want to take advantage of you for their own gain. If you found this video helpful or entertaining in some way, hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, check the description for the depression and anxiety workbook, and leave a comment below. Let me know about your experiences with psychics or times when you feel you may have been cold read in the past. Let me know what you think.